Hello everyone, welcome to our Let's Play series of Pillars of Eternity 2. I'm Colonel RPG, and I'm very happy to have you here with me as we talk to Iruke, who is the surviving face, I think. And they were telling us about a pillar of Adra that basically broke by means that we are yet to understand, because it was Wahami, who shattered the spine, and now bad things are happening.
They clog this place, or they linger above. Regardless, they wail and rage. It seems utter madness to violate this place. But now I know he longs to escape, or perhaps only to avenge himself on Tuamawai. Perhaps your arrival is the Hunter God's reply.
Why should I trust anything you're telling me?
Trust is for prey. But ignore my words and you will remain here forever.
So, Wehami seeks to escape, but you don't? Why?
Leave this place? How then would I serve Tuamawai? He chose me to embody his will to survive. And it is a role I shall proudly enact for all eternity.
Actually, Gallowayne warned me away. He sent you a giant lizard instead. Wait, what? Gallowayne did tell me not to come here. Oh, right. The dragon that explodes into sparks. And that I rambled about last episode. That was supposed to be Gallowayne, I suppose. Or help from Gallowayne. So, yeah. Gallowayne wasn't the one who sent me, basically. And he sent you a lizard, the dragon. It was a drake, actually, but whatever.
Then he has decided to punish us all. Strange to have so little time after having had so much. Wahami's grip on the flow of souls must be loosened. After that, well, you are a watcher. I hope that you know more of these things than I do, and can repair the damage the slaying face has wrought. Axika, the Seeking Face, also resides in this place. She may know how best to handle Wahami. If not, then the Slaying Face will certainly understand violence. Indeed, I'm sure he'd prefer it.
Yeah, and I don't like him too much. Also, his lines sort of repeat. He's the only one that repeats lines, and that doesn't endear me to him at all. Answers some questions for me. I'm still trying to make sense of this.
It would be stranger if all of this seemed normal to you. How may I enlighten?
I wish to know more of this place.
Tuamawai's realm is not easily understood. Ask, and I will attempt to explain.
The soul sits almost motionless, awaiting your questions in tranquil silence. Okay, if this is Tuamawai's realm, where is Tuamawai?
Do you not see his ribs, his eyes, his blood? This place is Tuamawai.
It's another titan. Dang it, so many titans. I guess it makes sense, considering we're dealing with a titan of Elthas throughout the whole game, or throughout the main quest. It makes sense that the DLCs would be all of them about the titans of the gods. Iruke spreads out their arms, their head tilted back.
I wonder if this is what those souls all reaped up by Gone feel like.
His presence surrounds us. Listen, and you will hear his roars and purrs. But since the shattering of the spine of souls, he has grown quieter.
Are we inside the pool of memories?
We are within the heart of the Crucible. The pool of memories was simply the entry. If you are trying to figure out where you are, the closest answer is that your soul resides within the statue of the faces of the hunt.
I think that means we can summon up a fight? Wait, we ain't a talking statue too now, are we?
I wouldn't think so, but what exactly do you do here that serves your god?
Our task is to sing the Crucible into action, providing the means for a true contest of skill. Though we conjure opponents for the contest, we do not control them, nor interfere in battle. To meddle would defeat this place's purpose. How can we say the best hunter is the best if the hunt is staged?
I need to know more about you and the others who dwell in this place.
Then ask, and perhaps I can lead you to clarity.
The soul sits almost motionless again. So, when Almighty spoke of the souls being out of harmony, she was sensing the three of you squabbling?
I suspect she sensed the disruption in the flow of souls after Wahami made his mark.
Iruke points to the fractured Adra pillar.
I fear the slow death of this place, or the wrathful return of Tawamawai, should the spine remain broken.
Exactly how many of you are in here?
All who die in the Crucible pass through this place. But only the three of us, Wahami, Axika, and I, remain to honor the Hunter God. Since Wahami damaged the pillar, I have spotted momentary glimpses of other souls. Lost, wayward, and transient. I imagine this will continue until the souls can properly return to the wheel.
Yeah. Were there other faces before you arrived?
No. Always the three of us. I can't recall a time without the others. Perhaps Wahami believes he can burden you with his role as the slaying face and escape this place. I assumed such a thing impossible, but he's determined to try.
I've heard enough.
Tuamawai guide your hunt.
Oh, I never agreed. That line that has... interesting. There was a line before that I could have said, I'll do it, but now I can't. It's end dialogue. Iruka's form blurs into a soft light and departs towards the southwest. Specifically towards the southwest. Maybe not of this map, but maybe we're going to meet them again. Well, I guess we're going to find out. So this is Galloway's... not spine, even though that...
belongs to my empire. All will be built according to my command.
Worry not, Your Majesty. Our nation has supplied Kazuwari with the best architects to have ever graced Deora. The site will be a marvel for the ages.
There will be no debate. This place will be built by Hawana hands and minds, or not at all. I will hear no more of it.
I am certain a compromise can be found. If I might be dismissed, I will notify my superiors at once.
The sound levels are weird. They have been weird throughout the whole DLC. You might notice me changing the volumes because I can like change the volumes at will. This isn't even in post. This is like at the time. So I'm doing it all live for me. What is this? Numerous spider eyes glisten with moisture as they observe you. Is that what those are? Spider eyes. How did I know that they're spider eyes? They don't look like eyes. They look like circles, not spheres.
Copper lines here and here. Make certain you lay them deep. The floor will inevitably sustain damage, and we can't have someone seeing the conduits.
I can build it however you want, but if they find out, they'll never trust us again. Our work at Okaizo would be doomed. What if Wano workers visit the site when we're laying the stone? What if someone...
Ukaizo will mean nothing if we cannot prove out our theories here and now. You worry about the masonry. I'll worry about the Huana.
That's a pretty important line right there. Okaizu will mean nothing. It's related, at least, so that's pretty good. It's good that we're doing these DLCs like right before. Well, I guess you always need to do it right before the end quest because they are difficult. This one not so much, but the other ones are really difficult. The flowing hair and gown of Exia flutter slowly despite the lack of wind in this corner of the beyond. Her face and features appear more defined here, and you see now her rigid posture and wrinkles forged by decades of worry and frustration.
Welcome, champion. I wish this were the reward you deserve, but the work of the righteous seeker is never easy, I'm afraid, nor ever complete.
So, she is the seeking face.
You stand within the Crucible's heart. As one of the stewards of this place, it pains me to admit that you've caught us in a state of floundering weakness.
She points to the massive pillar that runs through the seemingly infinite landscape. So that's the thing that we saw already, the pillar. It's red. I would think it's green, because that's what Adra is, but it's red. I don't know if it was described as red when it was described before, as being a stalactite and a stalagmite. Who are you exactly?
Besides the seeking face, you mean?
I don't know what I mean.
I am Axica. I designed the Crucible. I am responsible for it.
I take it the broken pillar is to blame for the the unquiet souls Homare mentioned.
In his desperate flailing to escape, Wahami smashed the pillar. Now the flow of souls through this place is choked, and the Crucible doomed. But now you're here, and I imagine the gods follow on your heels.
Well, the actual Gallowayne is on his way here with a very big lizard. Again, it's a dragon, but yeah.
That is not ideal.
She runs a hand through the ghostly translucence of her hair, a look of concern visible even on her wispy face. I think we were introduced to this dragon before the cutscene, and I just forgot about it. I think we were warned about this, or we saw the dragon. Did we fight it? Because we have been fighting a few dragons, anyway.
By severing the Crucible's connection to the rest of the Beyond, Wahami has limited Gallowayne's influence on Kazuwari. I can only imagine that he has sent an agent to reclaim it by force. His beast will drench Kazuwari in blood. But first, he will destroy this statue and all within it, the two of us included.
Arms crossed, Aexia, or Exica? That's the one. Taps her foot with frustration.
Another reason, Watcher, why you must stop Wahami.
The Soul Collection, is that somehow to blame for the island's oversized wildlife?
That this place also serves as an island of bounty proved an unintended but desirable outcome. You may have noticed that Kazuwari is overrun with beasts of unusual size. Animals touched by Gallowayne? Such creatures were not of this island prior to the Crucible's construction. You could say it was made in your image, in a manner of speaking.
Oh, you use the name Gallowayne when others here use Toamawai. Rumble about what I rumbled about before. Why, regarding this. Anyway, I'm not going to ramble about it.
Tuamawai was a mythic figure among the ancient Huana, a great three-headed monster, the greatest of all predators. We featured it prominently in our designs here on Kazuwari, in part to appease their overbearing king. Over time, Gallowayne bent the figure to his purposes. He may have stolen its identity, but in doing so, he granted it a kind of godhood.
Wow, that's good. That's good.
So it is a god, but not a god, twisted by gods into godhood? Captain, I have many questions.
No. Takeo nurses the back of his head. That's good. That's really good. That is brilliant. I couldn't have seen that coming. Well, maybe I could have seen that coming. I couldn't have seen how good it is coming though. So what I ramble about specifically, I don't know if this is the case for other gods, but hopefully it is, because it makes it good elsewhere. But how the gods are presented, specifically in regards to Elthas. No, not in regards to Elthas, but in regards to Ondra. So how the gods are presented are how the popular perception, and this is like I ramble about this because I realize it's my own sort of bias and pet peeves, and of course my own what I know and don't know, making me biased regarding this. But the way I see it is that the gods are presented similar or sort of inspired. They're sort of calling to the popular perception of the Roman gods and the Greek gods being analogous, which is not completely untrue. It's not that they're not analogous in the sense that, they are. The Roman gods and the Greek gods have a lot of similarities, and they are analogous, but they are not the same as sometimes is simplified, and is indeed the. Well, maybe saying popular perception is a little bit of a stretch, because it's not like it's necessarily a popular theme for people to know about, but it is a common perception anyway that that Jupiter and Zeus are the same, and they're not the same. Canonically, they're not the same. They're not the same in terms of worship. They're not the same in terms of the people who did worship them, and in fact, they had complete disagreements about the religion, because they were not the same. In fact, they're so not the same that gods like Yahweh and Mahomet. No, not Mahomet. Sorry, Allah. That's the one. I'm sorry. I need to think about the names because I'm not of either of those religions. But gods like Yahweh and Allah are more the same than Jupiter and Zeus are the same. And you can see immediately how different the religions, the Christian religions and the Muslim religions, are to each other. So, even though they are both Abrahamic gods, or in fact they are, according to the vast majority of the canon, they are the same god, they're just the worship and the religions are completely different. Now, the thing is, I see that as a sort of, specifically speaking of the Ondra, and I don't remember the name of the Huana goddess for the seas, or I don't remember if it's multiple gods. I think it might be two. I don't remember. Is it the serpents? Anyway, the game sort of presents them as sort of interchangeable. And it presents them, and I rambled about it as well before. I'm just sort of recapping my rambles because this is worth it, because this explains it all, and it's brilliant. I love it. But it specifically frames the Huana as being wrong, as it specifically frames the Dirwoodans who praise Ondra, or the Ondrites anyway, do praise Ondra, whoever, and that's another reason. The fact that they don't all praise the same pantheon, that people choose whatever god they want to praise or worship, is another thing that makes it analogous to the Greek and the Roman religions. So it just serves to drive that point home, that this is sort of like a furthering of that common perception, that misguided perception that Jupiter and Zeus, among other examples, are the same god. Anyway, the point is, it also frames it also frames the Huana as being wrong, because they are canonically, objectively wrong regarding the true identity of their own gods. But in the way the game presented it before, it doesn't say that they... it didn't say, basically, this. It didn't say that their gods existed, that Toamawai existed before Galawain existed. Because because as we learned... well, I didn't very well, because the text is a little bit opaque in the first game, but we did learn in the first game that Galawain was constructed by the Huana. And now, Alexia, I believe, is Huana. Did we learn about her race? Because I don't know that the Huana have Aumaua. Aumaua being the race. Flowing hair of Alexica. Alexia. Whatever her name is. I think she is Ingwithan. So, and I believe that this whole thing has to do with Ingwithans, because, you know, guys, this is all going to resolve into that, and we're going to learn about that right now, which is lovely. But the point is, the game frames it as the way the game frames it, you can understand it as the Ingwithans created Galawain, and then Galawain just manifested it across the world because it was created as a tool for furthering, I don't know what actually we probably can learn. They go on to the hunt, assassins, pursuit, wilderness, and predatory creatures. Sometimes thought to take the form of a fur-clad hunter or a great hound. The Galawain favors the survival of the strong and the culling of the weak. Now, that's probably where Galawain manifested itself. And then the Huana saw the signs of Galawain's work and just decided that's Toamawai. And just came up with a different name, as you do, because, you know, that's how it works. Because you have different languages, but that's also another reason why it's unfair, or not. It's unfair for the Huana for sure, or for I suppose unfair. It's not necessarily unfair in the sense of the game, because it is canonically true that they don't know the correct god, or they don't call it the correct name, I suppose. But the thing is, you could see Toamawai as being the Huana word for Galawain, instead of being a different identity altogether. But in this case, it is a different identity altogether, because it has different characteristics and different worship. So let's read about Toamawai over here. Worshipped primarily by a small subset of animists, Aumaua native of the Deadfire. Now, animist, I don't know why that is, but animism is specifically the worship of inanimate objects. And that's why it's called animism, and it's not even, it's like a type of religion. It's not even a religion, it is a type of religion. Like, I don't know, like the wind, and like the sun, the earth, and you can have different names for those, and even different identities related to those inanimate objects, but animism is necessarily a type of religion that animates the inanimate objects, and at least as far as I understand it anyway. Toamawai, sometimes called the Faces of the Hunt, has been generally conflated with Galawain by travelers from outside the archipelago. And you see that's what I mean, that's the conflated? That's the way the game objectively presents it. But the game can undercut its own text, no problem whatsoever, and indeed, that is what is happening right now. Canonically, in Pillars of Eternity, the god Toamawai, and you can assume that the other Huana gods, I don't remember the name of them, but the other Huana gods existed before the Ingwithan pantheon was created. And objectively, the Ingwithan pantheon co-opted the Huana gods to be accepted by the Ingwithans. Obviously, they were co-opted by the Ingwithans, so that the Ingwithans, I assume, as well themselves could be accepted by the Huana. So that's great. And indeed, also, in a textual manner, it serves a purpose. It gives a purpose for this weird obsession that the game has with coming up with different names for the gods for the Huana, because that way it works. It is sort of weird that it isn't in a DLC that this is, but maybe this is just another example, and maybe the main game does the same thing. Maybe the main game is gonna explain this, but this is super important, I feel, just from understanding what the pre-game setting is, as well as because it's really cool, because it is really cool. It works in not unintended ways, but it works in ways that are not immediately expected. Just if I told you this it's like if I told you this before and be like, oh no, the Anguithan gods existed after the Hawana gods, and you need to do all these calculations to come to the realization that I came to right now. Why didn't you want the Hawana knowing your true plans for this place?
What do you mean?
Well, this is to do with what we heard. Not necessarily with what she said. This is to do with her saying that, you know, the copper line should be hidden and whatnot. Eruka said something about the copper lines and the Hawana not finding out.
The surviving face speaks too freely of my past.
She shakes her head with a sigh.
When we conceived of the Crucible, we were on the cusp of several major breakthroughs in our study of the soul and the beyond.
That was bluff, and the reason why it was bluff is so that she couldn't tell that I'm a watcher. Huh. I didn't say that with the intention of hiding, but that is what we did eventually. I chose that because it had bluff in it, and I went with it.
The Hawana, however, did not share our interests. As a result, much of this place was constructed in secret, away from their attention. That the Crucible's true nature remains hidden to this day, I take a measure of pride in it.
So this is related to... I wondered if this is related to the creation of the gods. Or if it's related to... if this was done after the creation of the gods. But it has to do specifically with the study of souls and the beyond. So either way, it is related to sort of the ethereal... Not ethereal. Esoteric? Metaphysical. Whatever. It's also related to the end of the episode because we're out of time. So for right now, I'm Colonel RPG, and this has been Pillars of Eternity 2. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead and leave a comment, like the video if you want to see the next episode come out sooner rather than later. But above all, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next episode. Bye-bye.